Wake up, hit snooze 4 times, stare at your phone, roll out of bed, make coffee, sit in traffic, 8 hours of unfulfilling work, sit in traffic again, argue with your significant other, walk the pet, watch TV, pass out, repeat. This should scare the shit out of you. Yet this is the state of 95% of the population, even those that are putting effort into escaping this on a daily basis. I did everything in my power to avoid a 9-to-5. From the ages of, I would say 16 to 22, I was just obsessed with building different businesses and learning different skills to try and escape that reality that I had in my mind. That was my anti-vision. It was the bane of my existence to have a 9-to-5 job. Why? Because I saw how people lived, right? If you just observe societal patterns, right? You observe society, you can see and discern what is good from bad in terms of your daily actions. What are going to lead to a good life and what are going to lead to a bad life? You can go to the grocery store and see what someone is putting into their basket and realize, oh, okay, that's how you end up like this person. Not in a judgmental way. You have to be able to make decisions through observation, and then you become less mindless when you put things into your own cart. Do I want to end up like that? No, I want to end up like this. And so when I did get a job, the list at the beginning became my default state of living. Everything revolved around my work, whether I wanted it to or not, right? And now with entrepreneurship, what we're going to talk about in this video and how I believe it should be is that work should revolve around your ideal lifestyle. And anything that compromises that, then entrepreneurship isn't worth it at that point. And I'm going to argue why entrepreneurship is the only route to take. So over the past 3 to 4 years on my creator journey, I've noticed a few things. Entrepreneurship is the only path for long-term logical thinkers. Humans have been removing labor work since the beginning of time, and we are on the horizon of complete removal. The creator economy is the new economy. If you don't have a personal brand, you lose. Like the Black Mirror episode Nosedive, but in a good way. Sensible people get paid for doing what they enjoy doing. Shout out Alan Watts for being way ahead of his time. The future belongs to the self-improver, the person that takes responsibility for their life and becomes a fountainhead of value. And when done in public, it's almost impossible not to get paid. So I was scrolling on YouTube the other day and a post caught my attention, right? So the caption of the post was, what is one thing that you find overrated, but most people love? And there were comments about travel and other things, but the one that caught my attention was this. I'm just gonna read the first comment, but it says entrepreneurship. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great if you have the skills to go that route, but at the end of the day, work is work. That red flag, man, red flag. I'm sick of being told I'm a wage slave for choosing to work a 9-to-5. Most of these quote unquote entrepreneurs are really just unemployed. That's very loaded, very assumptive. I get where you're coming from. I really do. Like, it's easy to make that assumption when you're online and seeing these people like flexing big numbers, but man, there's a lot here. And the comments on this, if you want to pause and look at these, like, I hate social media comments. I hate getting trapped in them, but our brain loves it. And I won't lie, this irked me at first, right? My defense systems immediately started going off. I'm like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I was creating objections in my mind. And so I decided, why not just turn this into an actual video? Because it made me question, like, how can people not realize that entrepreneurship is the only path in life where you can have full control over your lifestyle, and that full control of your lifestyle is the only way to have full control over your enjoyment. Like, yeah, you can enjoy work and whatever these people say about it, but it's like, if you don't realize that by not using the human's unique ability to create, that's what we do. We have the gift of God within us to create. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what feels fucking amazing. And when you're creating for someone else with a purpose that is assigned to you, there's so much scientific literature and just everything that talks about how the psyche is wired that all point to entrepreneurship. And the thing is it's increasingly becoming more difficult to find the perfect gig. And even the perfect gig isn't perfect. There's going to be something that you hate about it. And because it isn't yours, because you aren't an entrepreneur, you won't be able to change it. And you won't be able to leverage all of the intrinsic drivers that make life good, like curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. Those are the intrinsic drivers, not extrinsic, not something being assigned to you. And so a few of these comments hit me. I'm just going to list off the objections. People hate what they don't understand. the people that comment on these things have not been entrepreneurs. They don't understand it. They don't understand the nuances of the brain that you pick up through daily experience. You only see online, me included, you only see maybe 1% or less of my life. Like, as much as I love the whole authenticity thing of the creator economy and that people are pushing that, but you guys don't know me. You don't know me at all. And so you see 5% of someone's business or less than 1% of someone's life and think that's enough to draw conclusions as to what you should do without experience. We talked about observing society earlier so you can correct your own actions, but if you're using it to just reinforce what you've been told to do and then justify it as, oh, I chose to do this, when you're tied to money, or else you would quit and not do it. In essence, they think entrepreneurship is overrated because they aren't entrepreneurs. I'm tired of being called a wage slave. I'm sorry, but your feelings aren't reality. If you got let go and you could not pay the bills, then you are by definition a modern slave. And the thing here is that slave doesn't have to be good or bad. We all have a collective notion of, oh yeah, slavery was very bad. And I would argue that all of us agree that slavery in the past was bad. But I will also argue that we will look back on the industrial age and realize that slavery was the norm. And that is what AI is coming in to fix. And so if you're forced to work for your survival, you don't have a choice. You're making choices in alignment with the unconscious and subconscious survival goals that you have in this life. And not only that, but most people are unconscious of what goes on behind the scenes of their company. They don't care to look beyond the string of tasks that they have to do on a daily basis, and so they can go home and sit on the couch and watch TV. They aren't aware of the exploitation of these massive companies hiring or paying pennies to third world sweatshops and literally contributing to a much worse form of slavery. And so when you become conscious of this and you continue to do it and don't think entrepreneurship is the only way out, then like that's a terrible thing. And of course, this isn't in all cases, this isn't in all companies, but if you're working for a mega corporation or like a huge chain like McDonald's, there's stuff going on behind the scenes that you don't know about, and you're serving people the worst food for their fucking health in the world. Like, what are you doing? And of course, you can't control this at the start, right? That's the entire self-actualization journey, or creating freedom for yourself. You have to help create a better life. You have to help create a better world. That's what makes life meaningful. What's wrong with me offering my skills to already developed corporations? Nothing. But why not develop skills that fit your own unique interests, the skills that you enjoy using, and then reach out to these bigger corporations and work as a freelancer and not have a cap on your income, so you can make 10 times more than you would working for the corporation. But you don't want to take the little bit amount of time that it takes to get there. You'd rather apply to a job from something that you already learned in the social fabric, the social matrix of people teaching you, okay, you're going to school so you can get trained into this job because this job is paying the school to teach this curriculum, and Wikipedia is flooded with information that the school, you're learning from the school itself. It's all fucked up. And when you do that, when you're a freelancer or you actually treat yourself as a business, then you aren't a slave to productivity metrics and all the other things you hate at your job. You gain control over your lifestyle and you can change things however you want. That's another thing. Like, when people actually try entrepreneurship and don't like it, it's because they don't realize, like, hey, you get to create your own job. You don't have to do it like all other entrepreneurs do. And one of the comments said, you're paying a man $50 to escape the matrix. That's not how it works. Actually, it is how it works. That's how I escape the matrix. I'm not a fan of Tate or like his views, but he's teaching time-tested marketable skills. There's only so much you can learn about that. I don't have his product, but I can assume what's in it. And for $50, it's a great fucking thing. In my eyes, it's better than spending $40,000 on a degree that can only make you so much money, right? You have to learn the skills that allow you to play infinite games and make an infinite income. Making money is a skill that can be practiced and cultivated, but only through entrepreneurship, because that's how you actually try to make the money. You aren't making the money. You are being given the money in a corporate job. You aren't actually making the money. You aren't making that transaction because your boss is making as much money as he wants. Entrepreneurs don't go back to a 9-to-5. That's one of my things, is like, I've never seen an entrepreneur go back to a 9-to-5. I've only seen 9-to-5ers leave to become an entrepreneur. You're busy all the time. No, you aren't. The stigma of entrepreneurs being busy is silly. Like, I don't think it's a thing. I work 4 hours a day, maybe minimum, maximum, sometimes more, sometimes less. Watch my video, the 4-hour workday. You're in control of your lifestyle. I can work as much as I fucking want if I build the things that allow me to work how much I want. All right, 2 last things, because this part is getting really long and I'm just I'm sticking on this too much. But one thing is the psychology of entrepreneurship, right? We have the psyche of our ancestors. The external world has changed a lot, but our ancestors were metaphorically entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurship is a new form of just contributing to the world, contributing to a community, providing value in exchange for another form of value. Our ancestors had their communities or their tribes where they had a specific value skill that they could offer, like cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, whatever, and they serve their communities, right? If you're just doing the same repetitive task day in, day out, then life loses its weight. You have to have purpose, and entrepreneurship and modern business is the vessel for purpose. And so last thing is that work consumes about 25% of your life. If you do the math, it's about 25%. Would you rather spend 25% of your life making new discoveries in the unknown and actually having some meaning in your life, or just predictable, same thing, day in, day out, never really breaking out? Yeah, you can go travel here and there, but not for long, because you have to go back and all this other stuff that's not in your control. The real AI singularity, if it happens at all, it's going to look like a doomsday scenario, like in a sci-fi story. The real way it happens, and this is probably inevitable, is a gradual erosion of human labor. So this is a tweet from 0HP Lovecraft. I see some of his stuff occasionally. I think he's very good. I haven't followed him yet. I don't know why, but interesting posts. So we're going to talk about AI and what the creator's role is in it, or what the modern workforce is going to look like. And I like to start off with like predictions from the past. So Aristotle condemned manual labor as harmful to the body and soul. The ancient Greeks saw work as a necessary part of life, but only as a means to leisure, creativity, and contemplation, as they considered those the key to happiness. And they needed that balance, that contrast, because the rest, the leisure, it can't exist without work. It holds no meaning. And so manual work isn't always bad, right? Labor work isn't bad. Like, none of these things are quote unquote bad. It's all subjective. It's all based on a specific perspective. But if you're just manually, robotically, animalistically completing tasks day and day and day and day after day, you aren't a human for that amount of your life. You're a robot, or an automation, or an animal, right? You're a robot. If you are a robot, you're going to be replaced by robots. So with automation and AI and all of the doomsday perspectives around that, I only see good coming from it, because a decline in labor work means an incline in creative and knowledge work for people that choose to continue working, right? I've heard perspectives of like universal basic income or other things like AI, where it's like, oh, people will naturally self-actualize. Well, it's either that they'll have more time to self-actualize, or they'll have more time to destroy their lives. And so the people that want to take control of their lives, preferably you watching this video, you can leverage this point in time for just that, right? People are considering UBI, universal basic income, and AI is just coming in to kind of do that for people, but allow people to choose how they make money. I like the AI route a lot more, because it forces people to get creative if they want to survive. It forces people to be human. And so from McKenna, thought can only go as far as the language that paves the road. So if we want to expand the limits of our own mind, and therefore the collective mind, or our potential as a species, we have to create the knowledge, ideas, and beliefs that permeate culture and influence language. That way, collective thought can be expanded and exponential progress can be made. The future of work, in my eyes, belongs to the creative, the writers, the speakers, the designers, the creators, every person that we thought AI would replace. Instead, AI will act as a tool to help these people push the boundaries. And so to do this well, work is necessary, but rest and proper rest is going to become even more important. And so rest and leisure and contemplation are of utmost importance, and that is because of the DMN, or the default mode network in the brain. The DMN is a series of interconnected sections that activate as soon as people stop concentrating on external tasks and shift from outward focus to inward focused cognition. In short, the brain is more active when you are not working. And so when we as humans prioritize rest, and I'm not talking about the modern notion of stuffing your face with ice cream, chugging a bottle of wine, and binge watching Netflix, but I'm talking about going to the gym, going on walks, reading, contemplating, visualizing, thinking, getting creative, journaling, brain dumping, all of that stuff. By doing that, we prime our mind for novel ideas, the ones that allow new language, beliefs, ideas, and thoughts to pave the road of thought. And through the power of internet, where information is so easily spreadable and accessible, collective knowledge increases and our capacity for development increases along with it. So to get practical, you now have the opportunity to pursue meaningful work that unlocks the parts of the brain that modern society has neglected for so long. Humans can explore reality with passion, explore their skill set, and self-actualize. And now let's talk about why the creator economy is the new economy. So I've been talking about this for a while now, but I came across a Twitter thread from Matt Mike, and it was a great thread that brought a new perspective or brought some new ideas to the theory that I've been preaching in my previous videos. So my theory is that everyone will be creators, freelancers, remote workers, mostly creators, right? If they have a personal brand, you have that leg up, and there's a lot of objections behind that, like, oh, I'm not experienced enough. Yeah, you are. It's you embodied. It's an extension of yourself displayed on the internet, and you are improving and providing value along the way. And through that, it is a public school, a public resume for job work, and a public school, but in the other sense, right? One where you learn from others and one where you teach so others can learn from you. And then it is like a progressive actualization hierarchy, and everyone can evolve beyond. So I'm going to summarize a few points from Matt Mike's thread. I would encourage you to look him up on Twitter, follow him. I'm sure you can type in the search bar like the name of the thread, or Devin, take the link and just pop it in the description right now if you can.
No, I don't think I will.
But first, we need to step back and think about how important social media is, because a lot of people say it can be toxic, yes, and that we would be better off without it, and yes, in some cases it's all relative. But at the same time, the people that are saying it's toxic don't realize that social media is a reflection of yourself, because the algorithm gives you what you want to see. So by giving attention and falling into your negativity bias and enjoying the toxicity, you are conditioning the algorithm and therefore conditioning your brain into this echo chamber of toxicity. Because like my social media feed isn't toxic. I love my social media feed. I love learning. I get new ideas every day. It's very conducive to my lifestyle. I just enjoy it all around. If I don't like something I see, scroll past it, block, unfollow. It's that simple. Close your eyes. And so humans are social creatures, and social media removes the barriers of socialization through media. So media is the front end of the internet. Code is the back end of the internet. Media, of course, includes things like video, writing, and all the different forms of those things. I talk about this in many videos, primarily the $1 million skill stack, where you have to understand media in order to make any form of an income for yourself, right? Media is how you communicate online or even in a physical location. You could consider yourself media, right? You could consider your business online a one-person media company. So media is how we learn. Media is how we get new information. Media is how we communicate the value of our businesses. Media consumes a large portion of our lives, and I would argue that it forms a large amount of the social fabric that we operate on as a civilization. So PS, I teach all of this with Notion templates in my masterclass, Digital Economics. So if you want to learn how to get on the future of work, as I like to put it, or learn how to personal brand, or become a creator and learn my content strategies and systems, branding, marketing, product, sales, all of the above, and how to, the best way I can paint it is recently I got someone saying that they're going to have to go through it time and time again as they're executing for a year. That's how much is in it, because you guys know, whether you like to admit it or not, that this thing takes time. Business takes time, and a year of going through and executing on a course, I believe, is invaluable. Of course, it can take less time, but expect a year to see some decent results and to make some decent money. So in terms of the thread that Matt Mike wrote, he illustrated that there were 3 layers of social media in terms of the value that each of those created in terms of income and audience. So platforms were the first form of digital media. So something like a phone, and Google and Apple kind of rule this domain, right? A platform is the first layer that generated trillions of dollars and billions of users, and the apps, so social media, the second layer apps of Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of the above, they captured the same amount of value over time, right? They grew to that amount of value, trillions of dollars flowing, billions of users. And then the third layer that most people don't realize, because they're so sucked into the apps that they don't realize that there is a third layer that is the creators, and huge creators are predicted, like Rogan, Mr. Beast, to generate trillions of dollars and have billions of followers, right? So as that value transfers over into the creator layer of that, then the biggest ones are going to have that insane leverage, right? They are going to be media companies. And the smaller ones, it's like you don't need trillions of dollars and billions of followers, right? You need $1 million a year and maybe 200,000 followers. Creators are atomizing what the social networks did by capturing mass attention, forming communities, distributing media, and generating revenue. And this makes even more sense when we think about the exponential growth that automation and AI have seen very recently, right? Because it's human nature to want human. No matter how human a robot can be, it's still going to be under like the lens of a human, right? Like I could make my account all AI if it was perfect and to the point. I don't want to do that. Like I saw a tweet from Jim Clare the other day where all the AI bros, are like, oh, you can automate all of your writing. And he's like, what if I want to write? And he's like, well, AI can do that for you. It's like, I want to write. And it's the same with videos. It's like, I want to create. It's fun. It feels good. And AI is naturally going to shift to take over the things that humans don't want to do. And that's the thing. The need for human is still there. The creators are going to be the next layer of media that generate the most value. In other words, personal brands, or however you want to frame it. When I first heard the term creator, I'm like, that sounds kind of cringe. I don't really want to be a creator. But then I tie it into like, I am a creator. God is a creator. Not that I'm saying I'm God, but I'm saying like you have the gift of creation, right? And so creators are people that educate, entertain, and inspire in the crevices of reality that they choose to explore by their own curiosity. And so unless we rewrite the collective psyche, which hasn't changed for centuries, then this isn't going to change. Robots do, however, have their place in increasing human creativity and decreasing labor. So my philosophy is the same. Business is an extension of the self. Being a creator is an extension of the self. Personal brand, same thing. It is a vessel for your purpose, because your purpose means you are part of something greater. It means that you are contributing to something. So people that aren't living with purpose aren't contributing to something greater than themselves, which could be a community of people, by providing value in exchange for another form of value. And so your purpose evolves from superficial to metaphysical as you solve the superficial, shallow problems in your life, and business reflects that, right? Personal development is about solving your own problems. Business is about solving other people's problems. So if you take that and you collapse them into one and you solve your own problems, you document the process online, and you ask for some money in return by creating a product or a system or implementation, then it all works itself out. You are the niche. Watch the video. The most profitable niche is you. And so the pattern here is that the eternal markets in business, if you're going to watch any marketing course or buy anything on marketing, you're going to learn about the eternal markets, which are health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, optional. So if you solve your own problems by self-education and skill acquisition to fix your health problems, get fit, right? You have your own goals, you have your own desires, so lean into them. Solve the problems standing in the way. Fix your money problems next, then fix your relationship issues. Fix your mindset issues and your mental health issues. And then once you do, you can self-reflect and look back, okay, what did I do? Let me piece these together into the form of a step-by-step advice with an overarching theory or philosophy or what I've learned, package that up, distribute it via the right modality, right? So maybe it's a course, maybe an email course, maybe an ebook, maybe just a traditional course, maybe a physical product, right? Like if I got a lot of peace out of journaling, then I'm going to create my own with my own prompts. What about a physical planner? What about the clothes I like to wear? Is there meaning behind it? Is because there's no like microplastics in cotton shirts? Am I going to start a cotton brand around a meaningful philosophy to me? So by leveraging the creativity that is being freed up by AI and whatever self-improvers are creating their own career paths, simply it's just baked into it, right? You solve your own problems, and human behavior revolves around problems. People pay to have their problems solved for them. So by improving yourself, you set yourself up for massive financial success. And I've made videos extensively about all of this, just under different lenses, because I was talking with Clark Kegley, big YouTuber, at coffee the other day, and I need to lean more into the one-person business, the lifestyle design, that kind of stuff, because it's like when you listen to your favorite artist, you just want to hear their same tracks, right? When a punk artist goes pop and you're like, I hate this, I want to hear these songs, and you listen to them on repeat, it's the same thing, right? You just say one thing 1,000 different ways in the creator economy. And when people change, that's when they die, because you guys want to learn more about the one person business. And simply by me repeating the same thing, it's going to condition your mind to see success in that domain, and you're going to enjoy it. So we've talked about this multiple times before as well, but again, we're repeating stuff here. If you want the full breakdown, go watch the best business model to make $1 million in 3 to 5 years. Great video, I think. But we're going to talk about some monetization methods. So the first is service business, right? Freelance, consulting, coaching, or tutoring. And so when you first start out, you don't have a large following, but you do have labor and time, right, that you can put in. So you can do direct outreach, and you can charge a higher price to sustain a higher income without trying to bank on an audience that you don't have, right? So you have to do client work, and that way you can get dedicated one-on-one results for them. And then when you have more leverage, you have an audience and you have the results, you've refined the system because you know what works now from working with people one-on-one. Then you create a cohort, or you create a product or something like that, and use the results to sell it to your audience that you've acquired by giving out value. Because with a service, you only need like 2 to 3 clients to make a pretty decent income, instead of like 100, 200, 300 course sales. Because if you don't have the traffic via an audience or a following, then you aren't going to sustain the sales. You need a service. And so the next thing you can do is you can turn that into a cohort or a course. So my favorite way to do it is a cohort, because you're still charging a higher price because you're still involved and you're still helping people get better results, but you create a curriculum, right? You create a curriculum, and then you have weekly calls to help walk people through it. And then you can charge for like a group coaching price of like 500, 1,000, 1,500, something like that for like 8 weeks. And then once you're done with that, you turn it into a course, and you already have the curriculum, you already have results, you already have testimonials. And by now, a year later, you have 50,000, 100,000 followers. You're making more of an income with way less work. And if you aren't sold on the information businesses or the education businesses, wait until the next video where I obliterate all of your limiting beliefs. And so the next thing is to build whatever you want, right? Now you have leverage, you have experience, and you have resources to transfer over into the endeavor that you want to pursue. So if you want to start a clothing brand, now you have the resources to do so, right? You don't have to procrastinate and have shiny object syndrome for 10 years and never start the clothing brand. Or what I plan to do, hopefully next year or the year after, I'm going to start a Modern Mastery gym, and it's going to be fucking epic. And you guys are all going to fly out, and we're going to have a lift, and we're going to get jacked. Or if you want to sell a supplement line, like I've been on the fence many times of selling a focus supplement and even like a recovery supplement and things like that, simply because I can just make a video on productivity, plug the focus supplement, and then people get results with it, and I make money, and it just makes sense. That's what business is. You provide something that makes people happy, and they give you money. And people that don't like sales don't like making other people happy. So the future is bright for the people that take responsibility for their lives. To reiterate this point, because I want to drill it into your head, the eternal markets in business are health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. These are where all burning evergreen problems that people will face until the end of time. So solve your own problems, document the solution, get paid, and have a good rest of your day, because that's the end of the video.